Good morning, party people. It is about 5:50 here on beautiful Logan Martin Lake. No wind at all today, which is pretty nice. Just about every day I've been out has been very windy. It has been a very, very tough stretch of fishing these last couple of weeks. We just had a lot of fronts come through, a lot of storms, really shut down the bite. But hopefully we're going to have everything lined up for us today. Have a little more luck. I've been on a lot of bites in some deep water, about, I say deep water, 10-15 feet docks off of a steep bluff. I think there's a lot of panfish though out there just nipping at my bait. So we're gonna hit those bluffs. We're gonna see if we can get us a little top water in this morning, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't have too much sunscreen on my face here. I'm not a big sunscreen fan, so I try to wear hats, try to stay really covered up. Got my hat this morning, so we were sunscreened to the gills. Anyway, we're starting it off over here. We've got these docks. They're sitting in about 10 feet of water. I'm gonna start out with a little brim colored Chapo here, the poor man's Whopper Plopper. Gonna start along this riprap, run along these docks this morning, see if we can get anything on that, and if not, we're gonna switch it up and go straight finesse, some Ned rigs, wacky, shaky heads all along this little area, and see if we can get a few on the boat. I guess there's not a lot of sun to hide from at this point, huh? Oh man. Oh no, did I lose him? I did. No, he's there. Look at this little guy. Take a look at this cute little fellow. This is why we've been having trouble hooking up on these things, because they are some tiny little babes here. Yeah, I said at the beginning, I got a lot of short strikes around here, and I was afraid they were panfish, but I think maybe they were just panfish sized bass. Oh, that was hilarious. Let's see here. Caught him on the trusty old Shaky head. This is the SMH, both the SMH jig head and the SMH Elastec worm. Huge fan of this thing. I know I'm supposed to be throwing my top water right now, but man, I just don't have a lot of success out here with my top water. I haven't recently, and so thought each one of these docks I was going to make a couple of finesse casts. So that's what we're doing. We'll be back on the top water here shortly. Nice to be on the board early, man, even if it was the dinkiest of dinks. Man, that little joker, he pulled when he first hooked up. I can't believe how hard he pulled, honestly. That was hilarious. And I hope his mama or daddy or some nice fish trying to eat him's hanging around here as well. And we're on again. Oh, this was a little better. Well, you got that joker. Get out of there. All right. Getting a little better here. Still small. Man, that guy looks like he has had a rough spawning season. Thanks for playing. It's really amazing how much difference those fronts make. I've been fishing this same spot with these same rigs, my last couple of times out, but we've just been in the middle of all these, cold fronts bringing in these storms, and man, it has just shut down the bite. I would get a ton of short strikes, but just nothing would eat it. And this morning, on the board twice, pretty quick. So pretty happy about that. Neither one of them was I don't know if that last one was actually a keeper, probably not. But hey, we got 2 fish in the boat. So after the last few days I've had, I will absolutely take it. What they say, a dink a day keeps the skunk away. All right, we got one on the Ned rig. Feels like a dang. Oh yeah, got one on the Ned rig. All right, got a tree. Man, I thought I hooked up with a catfish just sitting on me down there. I just saw some movement on the surface right out here behind this pontoon. So we're gonna cast the Chapo out there, see if we can entice this little morning blow up right here. Topwater has just been absolutely dead. All I've caught these last couple weeks, all my bites, all my catches, they all come pretty deep in the water column. Virtually all finesse. As you can see, we got this little muddy stretch, got this little grass going along right here. We had something feeding in that. Question is, can we get them to feed on the Chapo? I've just about put the chatterbait on the bench because it just hasn't been doing anything at all for me. But we may break it out and have a few casts just to see if we can entice whatever this is. It's hard because I definitely have evidence of bass that we can catch on the structure, deep in the column, really on the bottom, slow finesse fishing. But I don't really have any evidence that there's any you know, good sized bass under there. So, you know, if I knew that I was catching 2 pound plus at a time under these docks, I probably wouldn't be playing with this Chapo right now, because everything I'm catching there seems to be pretty dinky. We're gonna go ahead and try a little more for this reaction bite. Not to mention, I mean, who doesn't love a good blow up, right? Like if you got a 1.5 pound fish, you catch it on Finesse, like, you know, that's cool, whatever. Man, you get a blow up from anything, I don't know, it just brings the excitement level up a notch, you know? So I'm getting some more little short strikes here. You know, I would think that those were panfish if I hadn't caught, you know, the 2 little dinks on that earlier dock. So if I get me another one, I'm gonna go ahead and just try to swing for the fences on it, rather than giving it time, let it get a good bite and just see what happens. See if we can figure out what we got down here. Okay, we gave it a shot with the Ned rig here. Got one little nibble. We're gonna come back with this weightless wacky. See if it'll do anything. If not, we're gonna keep on moving down the line. Honestly, like, nothing about this dock really stood out to me, but those initial taps made me think maybe there was something here. Oh! Alrighty, we got one on. This feels like a good one. Got him on the Ned rig. He's fighting pretty good. Want to make sure I keep him out of these pilings. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, and oh man, and now I have, this thing is done pull drag. Come here, dude. Oh man. I thought I was never gonna get this guy out of the freaking water. Oh man, my trusty rusty pliers have trusty rusted shut on me. Man, have a look at that beauty right there. You do not get a whole lot of those. I don't get a whole lot of those. I don't want to speak for what you get. See, I don't always weigh my fish, but man, for that pretty boy, I'm gonna have to get a little weight on him. All right, so we're 0 pounds. We got 3.2 pounds there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Man, just awfully, awfully happy with that fella. All right, buddy. Thanks for playing. Man, that was just absolutely hectic. I knew I couldn't boat flip him. And so I normally like to net him when I get a good one like that. I got him up to the boat to net. He ends up pulling drag on me. So I go, by that point, the net, he was too far. He pulled too much drag to get him with the net. And I just had to get him out and touch and go there, lift him and got him in the boat. So take that as a huge win. Let's go. Caught that fella on this little Ned rig. So anybody that tells you, you need these big giant hooks, you need, big giant baits. I think, what was that? I think it was 3.2, and got him on the little Ned rig. So, man, super excited about that bass. Man, that bass, he made my day for sure. Dude, I can't tell you how stoked that makes me, man, because you sit out here through these slow days, and this last week has just been, it's okay because going out, it's going to be slow and you expect it to be slow. It's not like you think you're going out into prime conditions and then can't catch anything, so you're prepared for it. But still, it's nice to put a good fish in the boat. If it was just about the calm and the birds and stuff, I'd have a pontoon boat. Okay, you can tell there's a lot of structure here around this dock. I'm gonna go ahead and mark this one so I remember. I'm just hanging up quite a bit down there, but that drop off, the dock, and then the brush. You can see where the seawall here is caved in. I think just the combination of all that really makes it an attractive spot for a bass to hide out and do a little ambushing. And he did his little ambushing right on that pretty little Nico rig. Yeah, that little guy right there. I think that's a TRD mushroom, maybe a VMC. Ned head with a little wire brush guard, 3/16 ounce. And then the 3.5 TRD from Z-Man, little creature bait on there. It's funny, it's a lot shallower up there. I think it's only 5 feet or so when it first goes into the water. So I was a little surprised to get a good fish like that on. I was really thinking, out here around these pilings, this is where I would have a little more luck, but no, right back there against the bank, tied up to it. So file that mental note away. All right, so we're gonna hit one last little spot here. We got those 3 bass early, 2 right off the bat. Got that third little 3-pounder, an hour or so in, I think. We've continued down this line of docks. The crappie fisherman route. I know there's a ton of crappie, ton of brim down there. So it's just hard to distinguish, what's the baby bass and what's the brim, what's the crappie, panfish convention, if you will. So we're gonna run down to my grandmother's old dock, which I've had really good luck on. Of course, it holds some sentimental value. There's another dock next to it. It's a really steep bluff out there. You can see where we're at now. The bluff is flattened out a little bit. So after this next slough up here, you can see the docks around the corner. We're gonna see if we can hit those, do any good, and then we'll probably wrap it up and call it a day. There's a lot of A lot of stuff under here. All right, we broke off under our dock here, but had a good day, man. Finally got back on the board after some really tough fishing over the course of this last week. Got a nice one, so we're gonna call that a win and get out of here.